Hey guys, welcome to the Testing Academy. My name is Pramod, and in this video, we are starting out the first part of the series of learning Playwright as a from Java perspective. This series is really helpful for the people who want to learn end-to-end web testing using Playwright, especially with the Java. And we will cover from installation to all the mostly all the topics that Playwright basically have, like selecting selectors, running with a page object model, and we will basically learn in the end how to create your own automation framework out of it. And it will be really helpful for you guys to get started, because right now modern web applications automation is really tough in Selenium. And you have to try the new automation framework which are coming, like Playwright or Cypress, right? So let's get started and let's learn the Playwright from the scratch. Okay, awesome. Let me make myself a little smaller and let's jump into the why you should learn the Playwright, right? This is a really important question, right? First of all, just wanted to tell you that, okay, if you can basically do a 1.5x the video, and that will be great for the experience, right? That I have seen. A couple of my students have said, if we generally do your video at 1.5x, we are able to grasp the most of the concepts. Okay, so you can do that right now. Awesome. Why you should learn about the Playwright? This is really important, right? Especially for the QA freshers as well as the experienced people who want to enhance their automation knowledge, right? This can be a great tool to learn and add it to your skills in your resume, right? So if you are someone who is looking for an end-to-end automation apart from Selenium, then you can definitely you need to give it a try for a Playwright, right? This is for the QA fresher who want to enhance their skills. If you know about Java, even if you don't know about Java, you will eventually learn, right? You make sure you have a core Java concepts ready with you, and you can start learning the Playwright end-to-end automation, web testing automation. All right, you can use Playwright for UI automation, right? And you can write API testing related cases also with the Playwright, which is very awesome. And we'll see how Playwright is basically what are the different advantages and disadvantages of Playwright over the Cypress as well as over Selenium in the in the upcoming sessions also. Okay. And easy to use cross browser tool, which is really important. Playwright is basically works on APIs, and it basically provides you a single API to work on the different WebKits or a rendering engines of a browsers. So you can do a cross browser testing if it is required, which is really important, right? And easy to integrate with the other testing framework. You can integrate with Jest and other frameworks if it required. So you can do that. Knowledge of Java is required. This is for the especially for the QA fresher who don't have QA Java related information, because but what I have seen is that you can manage if you don't have, even if you can manage, because if you are because whatever the code that we are writing, I am basically thinking that as a if it is a fresher, how they are able to understand. So I will give you the concepts side by side also. Okay, but I would recommend to go with the core Java training also, right? Along with this. Awesome. So let's jump into the third slide, which is basically what is the agenda that we are covering. We'll basically cover the going to cover the Playwright, why Playwright is important, about the Playwright, and we'll basically run a simple quick test, right? It's so easy to run the quick test, trust me, in the Playwright. So we'll do in this demo. Okay, awesome. Just wanted to tell you that, guys, this series is basically will set you on a path where you will be learning the end-to-end automation with the Playwright. You will learn about the different concepts, like how to handle the selectors, page object model, introducing how to handle frames and other things which are quite similar with the Selenium that you have learned. So if you are someone who want to learn about the API testing using Postman, Selenium, and end-to-end automation using Selenium, you can watch out my playlist, right? On the sdet.live/YTP, which is YouTube playlist. You can go to that link, or you can go to the channel and go to the playlist list, and where you will see the Selenium related automation. And even if you want to learn about the Cypress, also have covered in the playlist section, make sure you do that. All right. And guys, if you found this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe, because it's really important. I am bringing lots of interesting videos in the future. All right, and give a thumbs up if it is helpful for you. All right. Okay, so first of all, what exactly is a playwright? It's very strange, right? The logo is very strange, and what exactly is a playwright? Playwright literally means a person who write plays, actually, and it's irony, right? How they have basically named it. So first of all, let me tell you like what exactly is a playwright, right? Playwright is basically a reliable. Pay attention to the reliable part, because how it is different from Selenium, that's why. But because in whenever we create certain scripts in Selenium, right, if there is a page load is required, if there are modern web applications, there are couple of events happen, right? There is lots of different event loops are happening on the page, and what's happening is Selenium is unable to cope up with these events, right? That's why Playwrights comes in, where it is more reliable and for an end-to-end testing of a modern web applications. So now you will ask me, Pramod, what exactly is a modern web application, right? Modern web applications are nothing but which are basically cloud hosted and scalable. Most of the applications right now you are seeing are modern web, not the banking application, because those are still on the older formats or architectures. They have a SPA behavior which is called as single page application. Single page application is nothing but you will see the view, but in the view the content basically change based on the user actions or events, and there are number of event cycles which are going on behind the scenes which you are not able to see, right? So that's really important. You need to understand about the SPA. So automation of SPA is really challenging in this Selenium point of view, because we have to do waits, we have to take care of waits, locators, and other events also. Okay, and that's where the Playwright comes in, and it handles it very well. Why? Let's we will discuss this, why this is in the upcoming videos. Okay, I'm going to give you an example of SPA application. For example, you have seen Paytm application, right? Paytm web application, which basically it's an Angular web application which is single page, where you will see it's a cloud hosted, and the behavior is basically a single page, where mostly you will see the view changes and based on the action whatever you do. For example, if you want to recharge your phone, if you have a postpaid connection, you want to, if you want to give any electricity bill on the Paytm, right, it's basically you can do that, and that application is basically a single page application. Okay, and here in the mostly in the modern web application, most of the work done is in the backend. All right, that's really important. And here is the link where you can read about it's a Microsoft article. Let me show you here. Let it load. Right here you can read about the characteristic of a modern web application, and they have given the example like how they are cross platform, easily automatable. There are other things you can talk about. Learn about the modern web application, right? Awesome. So now we know that Playwright is basically able to handle the modern web application automation, right? And here generally SPA, whenever I say SPA, which is single page application, web application, or that interacts with the user, dynamically rewriting the current web page. So basically whatever the web page that you see, it basically dynamically changes based on the user feedback. Okay, so that's really important in the SPA. But if you have seen the traditional websites where we have to load the full page based on the user interaction, right? So we'll basically load the page, but it's basically a static file which are replacing, for example, index.1.html, then after that you have context.html, and here in the SPA nothing happens, only URL changes as well as the content changes. And user will not able to basically differentiate. That's really important, and that's why modern web application are really hard to automate in Selenium. That what I have seen. Okay, so that's where the Playwright comes in. Make sense? Okay, and now what happens is most of the modern web browsers are supporting these modern web applications, right? And they have their own rendering engines. What is rendering engines, Pramod? Rendering engines are nothing but the APIs or the engines which are responsible for basically handling your SPA websites. Okay, for example, Chrome that you guys are already using, right? Which is a Chromium project, right? They are using a rendering engine known as Blink, and they have a set of API available. So anyone can use Blink APIs, which are basically nothing but a rendering engine of that browser. So a browser that you see behind the scene basically use a rendering engine. So whatever the browser that you see here, right, it is using a rendering engine behind the scene. Got the concept, right? Now for a Firefox, it's a Gecko. Generally Firefox uses Gecko, and Safari basically use a WebKit rendering engine behind the scene. And that rendering engine, nothing, it basically whatever the SP application that you have, right, they are basically able to translate, and basically you can see a beautiful view or a Paytm application right in the browser. So that's how it basically works. Okay, cool. So this is clear now. Now, so what happens is why Playwright is important is what Playwright basically provide you a single API, and that API is nothing but a node library which is able to communicate with the all three rendering engines. Okay, so if you know, previously there was a Puppeteer which was able to communicate with the Blink or a Chromium projects, right? So Puppeteer was there which can directly communicate with the Chrome. So now you can that API was available, right? And what you can do is you can write your test automation here, what set of actions, and that automation are directly translated to Chromium engine, and Chrome was able to perform that action. So that was a previous one. If you don't know about the Puppeteer, that's fine. The same team has basically created the Playwright, and now it is basically acquired by Microsoft, which is really important. And now what they have done is they have basically instead of only Blink, which is Chromium, now they have created the same product for the Gecko, which is Firefox, as well as the Safari. So now it becomes a cross browser tool. And the interesting point is a single API. Pramod, what is single API basically means? Whatever the code that you write, right, it's applicable for Chrome also, it is applicable for Firefox also, it is applicable for Safari also. So they have a very similar code. Okay, so that's why it's a single API here. Okay, now let me go back. So basically now what happens is it's okay, let me go back again and be a marker. Giving everything Selenium can do. So now the single APIs which are basically available, right, it can provide you cross browser now, and Selenium, whatever the Selenium can do, it can do also. Additionally, it provides the important feature which Selenium was not able to do. For example, to catch the life cycle of a page. That's really important, right? I have told you in the modern web application, this is really a challenge where you have log messages, exceptions, page life cycles, event life cycles, and there are many things in modern web application, which is where Selenium basically struggles. Now Playwright basically comes in, which provides you the modern web application automation. So now you will ask me, Pramod, so I have a Angular based application, should I choose Selenium or Playwright? I would recommend choose Cypress or Playwright for this, because what you will see is in the SPA, what I have seen personally, Selenium struggles most of the time, right? And even if the features like inspect, optional, mocking the network request, nor the other features like these features are not available in the Selenium. Okay, so if you are automating any modern web application, if you are able to understand the previous videos, right, I would highly recommend to go with the Playwright for end-to-end automation, UI automation. Okay, it will provide you with the 3 browsers which are cross browser also. Okay, cool, makes sense. And I think it will it's a great step. It's a really a great tool. It's an open source, right? That's and it's basically maintained by Microsoft, so it will go very far according to me. Okay, so since it basically works on a Blink rendering engine, so Chrome and Firefox, Edge is supported, Gecko is supported, and even Opera uses the Blink one, so supported. Firefox is supported. So all the modern browsers you will see are supported, but you will not see the basically Internet Explorer, right? No, there's no support for that. Okay, as of now. So if you want to automate only the modern browsers, go with the Playwright. Okay. Here the advantages of Selenium is that it cannot basically work on the which is IE, Internet Explorer previous parts, right? So here. Okay, now so any browser, any, and there is only one API. One API basically means the syntax remain the same. So it support these API cross platform. Firefox are supported. Different languages binding are available, so which is very important. Now you can automate your test cases. You can write your test cases in TypeScript, JavaScript, Python, .NET, and Java. So here we are mostly covering the Java part. You can go with TypeScript, JavaScript, and similar code is applicable. Just you need to convert them into the respectively, and that will work more in the most of the browsers. Okay, you can test on the mobile illumination also, emulation also, that you can do. Give it a try. Okay, cool. Again, just to give you the Playwright perspective, it's a resilient, no flaky test cases because it can auto wait. So here is an interesting feature. Basically, Playwright waits for an element to be action to be performed. Why it can do that? It basically works on the APIs, right? It's a single API which can interact with the rendering engine. So it's a little advanced and smart as compared to the Selenium, where we have to implicitly or explicitly put the weights, right? So it can auto wait. It can do web first assertions. Basically, you can create specific for a dynamic checks. Checks are automatically retired until the necessary conditions are met. So you can do the web first assertions. Tracing, you can basically retry your test cases, capture execution, video, screenshots, and eliminate the flakiness. So flakiness was a very important and very pain, you can say, in the Selenium test cases. So it basically solved the flakiness and auto wait, which is really good, and the assertions. So it has a great advantage as compared to the Selenium. Okay, there are no trade-offs. I mean, different browsers are already supported. Multiply everything test scenarios can be spanned. So there is it can support multiple tabs, so which was a problem in the Cypress. If you know, Cypress doesn't support multi-tab, right? And almost all the application have a multi-tab functionality where different tabs, like this is a tab 1 and this tab 2, right? They basically communicate, and we want to verify, right? And this is a very challenging in the Cypress. Now it can work with the multiple tabs. So great feature, right? I would recommend Playwright, right? Trusted events, test frameworks, and shadow domes. These are another great, or you can say plus point of a Playwright, right? That we will run. Another thing you can say, it's a fast execution. We have tried out. I have also tried out, and I have read in the articles also. Playwright is very fast because it basically works on the rendering engine level. So whatever the test case that you're writing, they are really fast as compared to the Cyber, even with the Cypress also. So that's really great, right? There are other things like you can create screenshots and other thing, DOM failure and other thing. We'll discuss more in the upcoming features, because these features are also we are covering one by one. Now, why Playwright? You will ask me, right, Pramod, why we are learning Playwright? It supports modern browsers. This is really important. Fast and reliable and auto wait API. It's really a game changer, I think. And automation. Powerful automation capability, multiple tabs and multiple pages are supported. So limitation of Cypress is handled here. So that's why, and maintained by Microsoft, which is really important, because whenever there is an open source project, there should be a company which basically back that open source project, because after that it will die sometime, right? If you know, there are a couple of Selenium pro grids and other things open source were available, and after that sometime they were dead, right? But here behind the scene is Microsoft, so they will be running it for a long time, that I think. Okay, so let's write our first automation framework, a test. First, let's understand what we are doing in it, right? So first of all, it's very simple. We are just basically creating a Maven project and adding a dependency of a Playwright, right? I have added a dependency of 1.171. Depending upon the latest version, you can do that. You can basically change it to it, right? Now you have added a dependency now. Okay, so it's a really simple code, which is basically we are creating a object of Playwright, and we are calling a static function of create, right? And now what happens is I just wanted to give you this example, and I will explain you in the part 2 also. Whenever you open a browser, right, what happens is there is a new tab and there is a URL and a enter button, right? Enter button generally is are not mapped. So this is a browser, and after that you will see a page, right? And page after page you will see the all the navigation and other things, right? So similarly here the concept is similar. You will create an instance of Playwright. Playwright will give you the browser will give you the page, and after that page you can do the action. Make sense? Playwright will give you the browser instance will give you the page instance can basically do navigation, and you can write automation after that. Cool. So here what you will see, let me make it yellow and small, right? What we are doing is basically we are let me pull up the marker. So we are basically creating a Playwright object, and this is a static function. It is giving you a Playwright object. We are calling a Chromium. Instead of Chromium, you can ask here the Firefox, you can ask WebKit, and we are launching it, right? So now browser will give you the new page, right? So new function will give you a page object. Now this page object you can call the all the function like navigate, do click, and other things, right? So this is a URL, and we are basically printing the title here, right? So let's see the direct demo rather than talking about, right? Here I have not added any try catch as of now, and if you see this create function, if you navigate over it, right, let me click accept, right, and see it's a static function which will basically take certain actions, certain parameters, I mean. And here we are launching it, and we are basically saying headless is equal to false, and slow-mo we have added basically slow-mo because we are using rendering APIs, right? So rendering APIs are really fast, and you will not see your automation running in. So if you want to see the automation running, you have to say headless is equal to false, right? And slow-mo 50 basically means I want to slow it so that I can see the automation. All right, I have created a new page out of browser, and after that I have basically clicked on navigation, and I have just added a assertion that it should be page title should be this, and the assertion that right now I am using is from the test-ng. Now you will ask me like, Pramod, how this project is coming up. Basically what you need to do is go to install IntelliJ, go to new project, okay, click on the new project, go select the Maven, and you can create from the archetype if right, and select the quick start. There is a quick start available, right? And when you do that, this structure will be made for you where you will see main and test. And in the pom.xml I have just added the dependency of Microsoft Playwright and the test-ng. That's it. Okay, two dependency. And in the test section, this file I have basically written this code. I have created a test annotation for a test-ng, and here is the test case that we are running. Okay, and if you are new about what's going on, you can watch out the test-ng tutorials as well as the Maven related cases, but you can follow along with the same one. Create a new project, add the dependency in the pom.xml. These two dependency we just need, and in this file delete everything and write down this code with the @test annotation and this code basically, which basically run a simple text. Let's do one thing. Let's run it. Let's run the test case, and we'll basically complete our first video on this. Okay, and it has started. If you see, it's basically starting out, and right now we are running on a Chrome, so it will it will launch a Chrome and because we are running in a headless mode, right, it will basically run it on a Chrome, and it will basically open this URL, right? And if you see, test case is already passed behind the scene. Okay, right, so it is very fast. Let me rerun and show you guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, run it again, and you will see very immediately, I mean, it will open a window quickly, and after that it just shut down because it's just a navigation, right? Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, you'll see this Playwright and right, and that's it. Our assertion is passing and works well. Guys, welcome to the Testing Academy. My name is Pramod and welcome to the series of learning Playwright in Java end-to-end web testing with Playwright. Alright, and in this video we will basically understand the code that we have written last time, right? And let's get started with it. Alright, awesome. So agenda is very simple, guys. We will basically going to understand the Playwright, what the code that we have written, right? We will basically understand that. We'll understand what is browser context. This launching in a parallel we will see in the next video. Here basically the similar code that you have written, you can basically run them parallelly also on a different browsers. We'll see in the next one. We'll try to include other test cases also, but we'll basically the main motive is we need to understand the Playwright and the there is a difference between the Cypress. So lots of people will ask me, if Cypress was already available, Cypress is mature, Cypress as a community, why Playwright, right? So we will understand this in this video. Okay, let's do that. Awesome. First of all, what you need to understand is the concepts of Playwright core. Okay, and this is really important for your interview also. What is exactly is the Playwright core? It's nothing. It's very easy. Let me tell you. Whenever you launch a browser, right? This is a browser that I have launched, right? You will see this is a URL bar, right? And there was a used to a enter button in the previous browsers, right? But now there is a normal enter works, right? So whenever you write a URL and click on enter, it will basically load that page. Now suppose that google.com is loaded and here you will interact with the page. So this is now a page and this is your browser, right? So understand this. A browser is nothing but basically this browser instance, right? And this browser is nothing but behind the scene using the rendering engine. For example, if this is a Chrome, we are using a Blink, right? And Chrome, some people will say it's a Chromium engine. Chromium was never a engine. Chromium was a project which basically behind the scene is using the Blink rendering engine. So actually the name was Blink, okay? Blink rendering engine, right? And this engine is basically converting all the SPA application that you have, right? So whenever you launch a URL, that code, HTML code which is coming here, this engine will basically translate and give it to the browser. This is really important. Please understand this. Okay, so now we know we have a SPA application available at a certain URL which basically goes to this Blink engine, and that engine is basically rendered all this, and this is a browser which basically show you the application, right? Cool, makes sense. Okay, so we have a browser, context, right? And we have a page. So after you will see that paytm.com is loaded, right? You will see that there is a page and now you can interact with that page. For example, you can do a payment for your phone, you can give electricity bill, and you can do different payment methods, right? And that after using page objects, you can do navigations. This is important, right? So just see this. Now, first of all, you need to create a Playwright object, and it will basically create a Playwright instance. That instance can be used to create a new browser, right? And here in the new browser, what you are doing is you are basically calling, I want to launch Chrome, I want to launch Firefox, you want to launch WebKit, right? And you can basically run on a different browser also by calling it, okay? And this browser will give you a context. The new context, this is actually a browser context, right? And this context will give you the new page, right? Whenever you load a page, it will give you a page, and after that, pages can navigate, can click on it, can click on button, can fill a form, can do multiple things, right? So after that, this is there. So you have to know browser, context, page, and its navigation. The three things are really important, and that's it, all about it. And all the things that you are seeing are very much similar as compared to the Selenium that you have seen. Okay, so browser, context, and page are little different concepts that are added, and we will learn more in the upcoming videos about them also. Okay, how to create a different new context. New context is nothing but basically kind of a sandbox environment. How you can do that, all the things. Awesome, cool. So again, let's understand the code again. Now, you have seen this test case, right? Where we are basically creating a Playwright object by using this static method of create. Now, we are launching a Chrome function. Basically, we are telling that we want to launch a Chrome, and this basically takes an arguments. You can basically Say we want headless. Here you can say I want slow mode and other things. You can basically mention here how you want this browser to be launched. Now you have a browser basically launched. You are creating a new page. You are basically launching a asda.live page and you are printing out the title. That's it. Okay. So this is a simple code that we have basically understood. Awesome. Now what you can do is you can take a screenshot also. So this is the code. You can basically take the screenshot. Now to take a screenshot, we need a page one, right? Only page. There is a function called as screenshot. And in that you are basically mentioned, I want a new page screenshot option and the path of it. You need to mention the path. So let's do one thing. Let's run it directly. Okay. And let me copy this code here. Let's give it a try. Okay, so this was a previous code that we had, right? After assertion, I want a screenshot also. I have added this code, right? Now, and here it's basically asking I need to import. Let's import the class, right? And there is a path which is added. Okay, now let's run it. Let me rerun for you guys. Actually, our screenshot is already available. I'm just rerunning again. So this is the browser, and okay, I'm just rerunning for you guys. Yeah, you'll see this browser, right? Yeah. All right. So it's done, and here you will see example.png is available at the path, right? We have added this path only. So screenshot is working fine. And here we have mentioned that we need to take this screenshot option and we are setting up the path as example.png. You can say anything like test.png or anything that you want. Okay. Now this is sorted. Awesome. Let's quickly understand the difference between Cypress and Playwright, right? Which is important. And I mean, people generally ask you this question, right? Why you are going with the Playwright right now. Cypress is already available. Okay, I would recommend read this article first. So let's so the overall crux of this article was Playwright basically works on the WebKit browsers, right? And Cypress is not working. Basically, Playwright works on the API level. You know, it's a single API and works directly with the rendering engines, where Cypress basically works in a different way. Okay, in Cypress, you can't choose any kind of a test frame runners, right? But here in the Playwright, you can choose your runner if you want. You go for the Jest and other test runners are available. Okay, you can go with. Playwright basically lets you test in several browser at the same time, which is really important, which Cypress basically lacks, right? Again, Playwright supports multi-tab and frame, which is Cypress big no. Cypress can't support multi-tabs and frame. That's why we have not chosen. Let me give you a very big example. When we were automating our front end, right, we started using Cypress and we faced this issue where multiple tabs and frames were very much not supported, right? So here, and right now what we are doing is we are switching to Playwright all the code. Okay, so that's a learning for us. Even with the 9 years experience, 10 years experience, this kind of learning you can see. So Playwright, definitely it's a better choice if you compare. But again, it's up to you guys. If you are comfortable in Cypress, and since Cypress commands and other things are really easy, Cypress provide you with a proper folder structure, how to maintain your code, other thing. Playwright doesn't provide you anything. So there is an advantage in Cypress also. Okay, so you have to make your decision based on it. Cypress doesn't run in headers mode by default. Playwright does. Playwright basically await the UI element before running interaction. Cypress try the assertion until the timeout. So there is a huge difference. Both are, so overall conclusion is both are awesome tools. Both have a different use cases. If you are someone who want to automate end-to-end UI automation, I would suggest give it a try of Playwright also. You will love it. Okay, and if you are basically want to use the rendering engines on a different browsers, go with the Playwright. And even we have started migrating our code to Playwright. It's really easy. You just need to because we have we had a proper structure and the APIs are quite similar. So that's why we are also changing it, and the new test cases we are adding in a Playwright, which are really easy to automate. Guys, welcome to the Testing Academy. My name is Pramod and welcome to the series of the Learning Playwright in Java end-to-end web testing with Playwright, right? This is the part 3 where in the first and second part we have basically discussed about the core concept of Playwright, and we have written a one program which is mostly a hello write. In the part one we have discussed why Playwright is very important to learn, to gain and enhance your skills, as well as how Playwright can be helpful if there are certain scenarios like automating the modern web application, right? So in this series, in this part, we will learn about the selectors. All right, so let's get started. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Let's do one thing. So today's agenda is basically learning about the selectors. Playwright selectors are really important, and they are very much similar with the Selenium, if you have known. And if you are someone who's basically have no idea about the selectors, I'm going to give you the demo, right, how you can do that. What we will do is we will basically learn about how to click, how to navigate, and how to do many more things using selectors. And we will try to automate one scenario, a sign up scenario, which will be your it's a kind of a challenge for you guys, and this will be a important task for you. And I will be automating a login page of app.vw.com. It's a freely public website live project that we will be automating in front of you. Okay, let's jump into it. Awesome. Before I start about the Playwright selectors, right, I just wanted to tell you one important thing, which is the popularity of the JavaScript frameworks. Like if you see Selenium, right, especially this Selenium, right? If you see Selenium, you can go through this chart where I have got the start from the ThoughtWorks, where they have basically given you an endpoint where how Selenium, WebDriver, IO, and different frameworks are basically compared, right? So you can go through them. Let's go by one by one, right? So let's jump to the selectors part, right? The first one basically is a text selector. Okay, so first of all, I have told you in the previous video, right, that whenever you see you basically, first of all, you need to create a Playwright object, and that Playwright object will give you a Chrome instance. That Chrome instance will give you a browser instance, and out of browser instance you will see a page. Now suppose you have loaded a particular page. Now you want to locate an element and click on it. So you can use this text selector, which is called as page.locator, and in the double curly braces you can mention text is equal to login. So whenever it sees a text is equal to login, it will click on it, right? Similarly, we have CSS selector, which are pretty much straightforward. If you know the CSS selector, you can directly call the function page.locator, and the double quotes you can enter any CSS locator that you have. If you have no idea what is CSS selector that I'm talking about and a different CSS selector, I would recommend go to the sd.live/YTP, which is YouTube of a testing academy, and I have discussed about the CSS selector and the XPath extensively, how to basically what are the selectors and how to basically get any locator for an a page. Okay, and Playwright basically supports Shadow DOM and the example given below. So it's a awesome, I would say, a framework which basically provide you support of Shadow DOM also. So right now, modern web application extensively use Shadow DOMs, so you can basically do that. So enough of the theoretical concepts, right? Let's jump directly to the demos. Okay, so first of all, let's do one thing. This is our website where we will be doing it. So let's do one thing. I'll open the login page first, and you will be automating the sign up flow. I am automating the login flow. Okay, so this is a username and password. Okay, and these are temporary username and password that I've created. And if I click on sign up, if I enter the username and password here, I will be there will be a successful login. You will see a trial is over. That's fine, because my 30-day trial is over, but you will see a dashboard loaded. Okay, now this I want to achieve using Playwright. How you can achieve? Let's jump into it. First of all, let me do one thing. Let's log out and let me make myself a little smaller. To basically interact with this page, what we need is selectors, right? And the locator. So this is the input box, right? And if you see, this is a input box. This is input box. This is a button that I need to create. So loading this page. So our automation scripts looks like this. Loading this page, clicking on this, entering the value, clicking on this, entering the value, and the clicking on this button. Cool, makes sense. Okay, let's fire up our favorite tool, which is IntelliJ. Last time we have discussed about this example, right, where we have basically done the same thing. So now what I have done is I have created a day 3. Okay, and here I have added one function, and here you can import. So we have successfully added the test ng, right? So test ng is already added. Cool. Now this is our basically function which will run, which will basically log in, right? So couple of things I will just copy paste, which is till the navigation, right? We will basically launch similar thing. We will launch the Playwright. We'll create an option, right? I have set these headless to false as well as slow mode. Let's make it 100. Little slow it will load. Now I need to navigate. So page.navigation is basically used for navigation. So I need to navigate to this, right? And this code I have explained you earlier also, guys. So don't worry. In the previous part 2, you will see that. So this will basically load that application. Okay. Now what I need is I need to locate the first element, right? So this one. So if you right click on it, click on inspect element, and let's see what is the CSS selector. We can use a CSS selector for this, right? So there are a couple of CSS selector, for example, name as well as ID is there. So we can use ID. Okay. So page dot locator, right? And here it's basically telling you, you can mention, you can give text locators, you can give CSS selector, right? So we will give a CSS selector, which is this. And if you want to give ID, you need to mention the hash. If you are giving the class, you need to mention the dot. That's a important thing. Now I need to do basically fill. So if you see, there's a method called as fill. What is the value you want to fill in this? I want to fill this information. So double quotes, and that's it. Cool. Let me duplicate it with the Control D. It's a shortcut in Eclipse. Okay. Now the next locator we need is, so I'll just click on it, hover over it, and you'll see we have a login password ID, right? Available, and we will change it. Cool. And I need to see the value also. So what I will do is just instead of password, let's say text, and the pass, it's very simple. I think Wingify123 is a password. And what we will do is we will just replace this with the Wingify123. Now we have two elements. Now what we need is we need to click this button. Okay, so let's see what this button, what is the CSS selector for this. Okay, and we have ID. So awesome. What we can do is we can directly paste dot locator, and here double quotes, hash here. Now I need to click, right? Now instead of locator, you can directly do is you can directly call click, and here you can mention the method. So in Selenium, what we used to have is we used to fetch the element first, then click, right? Here in the Playwright, you can directly click by using the page object. So that's the easiest way. I think this is really easy. And what we need is after this, there is a loading, right? So loading will be automatically handled with the Playwright, because Playwright is a really awesome tool, and it basically auto wait till the DOM load another function. What we will do is we will do another check, which is basically we will verify this uh, page title, and that page title, this is our CSS selector, okay, which is data QA is equal to page subtitle, and that we want to verify this span. If you say, right, this one, if you see, this is our CSS locator, which is data QA. So CSS selector here can be a key value. Key is equal to value also. So key is data QA, which is explicitly added in this website, and the value is this one. It's a unique value, and it's not a random value. First of all, you will see lots of random values in sometimes random generated classes, but these are specially made for the QA people to automate this website. Okay, so this is actually that's why. So you can use this also. So what we need is I will add one assertion in this case. Okay, and I can add this. So what we need is let's do one thing. Let's I think the title we can assert first of all, right? So you can get the title by document dot get title. So title is dashboard. Okay, so I'll just copy this, and if so assertion page dot title should be basically dash Okay, cool. And we need to import, right? So we will see alt enter, right? And we need to get the assertion. So let's get the assertion from the cool. And we have a script ready. So let's quickly run it and let's see if we are able to run it or not. Run and verify, right? So what we are doing is we are basically filling up a form. Now we are successfully launching it, and we are just filling up. Okay, so now I've in the next step we will basically convert this into a setup tear down approach, where we will launch the browser separately, we will close the browser separately, and we'll do the logic separately. Okay, so we can also do that. So I'll show you in this. Give me 1 second. Uh, this so right now it has started, and let's see if we are able to see that or not. Yeah, so we are able to launch it, the website, and here we have our website ready. We are able to enter the value, right? And right now we are basically trying to click that button, sign in. Okay, let's see if we are able to click it or not. Okay, so it's still waiting. I guess there is some issue, and we will basically check it out also. We have, okay, I think we have missed the hash. So it will give us an error or not. Let's see. So it's waiting for some time, and it's basically trying to find that element, but we have missed the hash. So it will give you an error after some time, right? And the error is basically says that the selector wait is basically exceeded the 30 second. So 30 second it has waited for that element. So that's like a default timeout. That is, now, right? And here, if you see, we can do that. We can do one more thing, which is I really like to do, is taking screenshots. And this is the simple code which basically take the screenshot. And what I do is generally what I will do is I'll just the name will be the title, the toString. Okay, so this will a title is already a string. So yeah, so I will take a screenshot also out of it. So let's rerun again. Now we have fixed the error also, right? Which is basically click method. The selector was wrong because we have used ID and we haven't added hash. Okay. Now, meanwhile, it is running. What we can, I was talking about, we can use something called as testng's setup and tear down methods. Okay. So we'll convert that into right now. Okay. So let's quickly run this, which is basically, and we will also try to maximize it. And if you see, everything works well, and batch command not found. What is it? Okay, so it's basically the assertion that we have added, right? It's failing. Why? Because we are not waiting actually. After clicking, we are immediately, if you see the screenshot, right? Okay, I think there is an error with the title. Let's do one thing. Let's give it a try again. Awesome. So what we have done is the click will basically auto wait for that element to run, right? But what will happen is whenever we click that submit button, now it will load the new page, which is basically a dashboard. Since it's a modern web application made in Angular, we need to wait for something called as network idle. So this is really interesting concept where Selenium was quite struggling, and we have to use our weights in a systematic manner, if you have no, right? But here in Playwright we have an advantage where we can basically call, which is called as space dot wait for the load state, and the load state what we want is network idle. Until the dashboard page is fully loaded, we will wait, and after it loads we'll basically do our assertion. That's what I did. That's it, right? And after that we will take the screenshot also. So let's rerun again, and let's see if we are getting the exact results or not, right? Okay, so we are rerunning right now, and it will open the Chrome again. Same thing will happen here, but just one thing, which is we will wait for the load state of network idle until the second page is loaded or not. Okay, so that's really an important and very interesting concept, which basically differentiate the Playwright from the traditional Selenium and Cypress. I think Cypress also do that, but there's a logics are little different in this case. Okay, so let's see, and it's running already. It has started, yeah, and it will put the username and password and click on the sign in, and it will wait for the network idle till the dashboard is loaded, right? So after clicking this is it's a modern web app, and now it will load the full app, right? And now network is idle, it will stop the execution and our test case will pass. Okay, so we have a test case pass, and this is the screenshot that we have captured, right? Awesome, right? Now let's do quickly, which is basically setup, and we will create two functions, which is called as public public void setup. Okay, and here we'll basically say that it's a setup it's a test. Again, it's a basically, we will say it's a before test method, right? And I will create a these are test ng ones, right? These are just test ng's setup, test case, and the closing of that, right? So we'll say tear down. Okay, and we'll say it's a after, we'll use the annotation called on the after test. Okay, so what we want to do, so before that I will just say that, okay, uh, okay, I have basically done. I need to copy this to the day 3. Okay, now we have the same functions available in the here. What you can do is basically create this all the data in the setups. Okay, and here you just need to basically do little different, just make sure you are doing this. Yeah, so basically I'm just putting them as a variable available everywhere. Okay, so that they are available to every function, so we need to initialize them here. Okay, that's it. Cool. And now we can make this function here. So this is a traditional test now. Okay, which is available, where we are running one test case. This is a setup method which will, so this is it's just a symbol. It's the first it will run, then it will run this, and after test it will basically close this. So let's rerun. This is kind of a traditional test case, that and a proper formatted test case that I have made. That's it. There's nothing fancy on this. Okay, and you have seen all this in the test ng also. So I've just just optimized my code so that we have a proper bed. So if you see here, right, the first setup will be run, then your test case will be run. So right now the test case is running, and it will start putting the data. Similar thing, nothing is changing here. Right now we have a failure. Okay, probably some, what is it problem? Okay, let's suppose it's let me see. Okay, so we are checking it. Let's check. Okay, we are back. Okay, so we have optimized it, and I have used one interesting feature which is called as wait for selector. So what I'm doing is I'm basically waiting for this selector to load, which is basically this class. Okay, page heading class. Until this is visible, I will wait for it and then assert. So that assertion will basically pass. Okay, so now let's rerun, and again you will see that test case will pass, and we'll basically checking when there is a load happening on the page. Okay, and all right, so let's rerun and let's check it out. Okay, and here we have username, password we are right now entering. Please enter username and password. Okay, net is little slow, that's fine. And here we have dashboard loaded, fine. Awesome, cool. So test case passed. We have a screenshot also. uh, Below part is not loaded, we can add a check also. Hey guys, welcome to the Testing Academy. My name is Pramod, and welcome to the series of the Learning Playwright end-to-end web testing with the Playwright. All right, this is the video 4. Make sure you have watched the video 1, video 2, video 3, where we have discussed why Playwright is an automation framework for you. We have basically created our first program. We have learned about the selectors. Now the third part is basically generating the test dynamically. I mean, without writing and code, how you can generate a Playwright scripts very easily, right? In this video, let's see. Awesome. Okay, so what we are doing is we are generating our test cases for a very simple page, and we will see how emulated devices, you can emulate the devices also, you can emulate the geolocation, as well as you can do a language and time zone testing also with the Playwright. Awesome. So let's get started. Okay, awesome. To generate test cases, actually we are using something called as test gen or a code gen of a Playwright. Okay, and that is already available at this URL. Okay, and it will basically give you a certain commands that you can run. And if you're working with Java, what you need is you just need to basically pass this command, which will basically give you the code which is written for you. So whatever the action that you will basically record, and the code will be automatically generated for you guys. All right, so let's give it a try. Okay, so what we have done is we have basically run this simple command they have already given you, right? Let me give this command, right? So the command is basically maven execute Java, and the main class CLI we are using it. And I have told this command, which is codegen and the selector hub. This is just a demo page of a selector hub that we are using for this. Okay, now you will see the magic. You will see these two tabs which are basically right now open for us. The first one is the test page that we are testing out, and here you will see the code automatically generated in Java, right? So let's do one thing. Let's, in the username we are adding Pramod, and here we are entering Datta, right? And if you see, it's basically saying click here, fill the Datta, click here, fill the Datta, which is really, really important. Okay, and here we are just clicking on the submit button, and you can see that that code is already generated. Right now you will see there is an error, but that code is already generated for us. Okay, so email ID error is there, but of course, and if I do a right click, see, right click, codes are getting generated. If I do click here, if I click here, right, anywhere I click, it basically going to generate a code for me, right? See, cool. And if I click on this URL, it will click on the, and there's the assertion, it is automatically adding to me. Let's do one thing. Let's quickly do a what is called as, okay, so let's do one thing. Let's record. Okay, so record is stopped actually. Now it's recording, and I want to pause it. You can change the language also if you want to. For example, you want to change it to JavaScript, you can do that. If you want in Python, similar code is available in Python and the Java. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's create a fresh one because this is little clumsy right now. And let me stop this. Okay, and let me rerun so that you guys can understand. So this is the command that I am basically running, a similar thing, and you will see the code gen automatically open for you guys, right? It's doing some stuff behind the scene. Let me get back. Yeah, awesome. So you will see that it's now loading and it is automatically open. I mean, I haven't done anything. So if you see Playwright instance is created, Chromium is created, new page is created, and the navigation, right? Let's do one thing. Let's enter the username now properly so that pramod@datta.com. Enter password 123456 and company name is blah blah blah. Submit. This is our test case, suppose, and we have it, right? Now what you can do is you can just click on this copy button and go to your IntelliJ, and here you can basically do a paste. But you will see that this is there are, it's a basically full class that we don't want, right? So what I will do is I will just copy, because page till now here I have already done. So I need to copy from the navigation part, right? And here it's basically automatically suggesting us to add an assertion, and some advanced code is how it has also added. Okay, so here we have now the code is already there. It's basically telling that, okay, there's a click button, there's a fill button that we are filling, clicking it, filling it. I'm just removing these extra comments here, clicking it. Now it's basically telling us that we can add a page.navigation also, that page.navigation to this URL, right? Which is not required because after filling, click and fill, we need to basically wait for the navigation and click to button the click to click this button. And there's an assertion also that page.url should contains equals to this. I mean, same page is loaded, that you can add assertion by default. Let's do one thing. Let's run it. Okay, let's run it. run it, and let's see if we are able to properly run this. I mean, you have to do certain kind of grooming to the script so that it is not failing. I mean, other thing extra fields you need to remove. Okay, so now let's run it and let's see the code gen demo is working fine for us even in Java. Here you will see the, okay, this is the code gen example. So this is the test case which is running, and you will see okay, everything works fine, guys. Cool. Our test case, okay, there's a assertion failure. Of course it will be a failure because this assertion actually right now doesn't make sense. We can add our own suggestions if we want to. Welcome to the Testing Academy. My name is Pramod, and today's topic is all about how to handle weights, how to extract the values, assertions, and couple of navigation command that you should know. These are very, very important Playwright core concepts, so pay attention. Let's get started. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and like. Let me make myself a little smaller. Cool. So the agenda for this video is basically extracting the value from the elements, which is really, really important. Assertion, how you can add your own assertion in the Playwright Java, especially navigation commands and couple of waits and timeouts that we should know. Okay, so let's learn. The first one is assertion. I think assertion that you guys have already seen, right? Most of the assertion you can leverage the test-ng assertion by default. If you are comfortable with JUnit assertion also, you can directly use it in the program of Playwright, right? Playwright basically provides you few more assertions, like if you want to fetch the data, for example, text content, right? Similarly, in the Selenium, we have to get text method, right? We have text content. So by text content and the CSS selector, you can get the value. Okay, so that's the easiest way. The second one is like page.inner text, and you will find where if you want to get the inner text of a particular class, for example, there is a div class and there is an inner text that you want to fetch it, right? You can do that. Similarly, you can get the attribute also. So there are lots of different functions which are available in the Playwright. I will not go through them, but I'll give you an example for a couple of them to fetch any kind of a details. Okay, from this you can get the attribute. So if you are able to get the attribute now, I think most of the selectors or getting the assertion is really, really easy. So we have a text content, we have a get attribute, we have a inner text, which are three are really, really important. Okay, awesome. So serious, and there are a couple of things that you can also do. Here you will see another function which is called as page.evaluate. Evaluate basically says that you can run any kind of a JavaScript function on the page. Right now, if you see, we are running this square bracket and window.local storage get admin is basically a anonymous function which will basically automatically run, and it will basically fetch you a local storage item. If there is a local storage item with the ID, user ID, it will give you the details in this object. Okay, I know it's a little advanced, but we'll see the demo also in this case. Here, if you see pay.locator.input value, we can get the input value, right? If you want any locators and if you want to evaluate further, you can use the page.locator.evaluate. These are like little advanced. And if you want to count the total number of LIs and UIs element, you can use the count method. So there are a couple of there are lots of different useful functions already created in Playwright that you can leverage and use them. Okay, and we will use a couple of them in the demo. So assertion, I have told you, like you can check element is checked, is disabled, editable, is enabled, is hidden, is visible. They are very, very, very similar to the Selenium that you have seen. Okay, that you can use. Okay, so assertion, I have told you directly. You can use the test-ng's assertions. You can find more at this lambda test where they have mentioned about the different assertion that you can use in with the test-ng, right? We have assert equal that we are using in the part 2 and part 3. We have assert equal with no order, assert true method, not null, and lots of them. Now let's do one thing. So we had this demo, right? Let's do one thing. In the day 3, we had automated a VWO login page. Now suppose so let me delete this. This is a test script basically created by testgen automatically, and I'll copy paste this one. Now suppose I want to fetch the this page heading. How do I do that? Okay, and before taking the screenshot, I want to fetch this page heading. So how I can do that? If you see, I have basically given you there is a method called as text content, and that takes the CSS selector, right? So we can do is, okay, string heading, and I can get it from the text content, right? See, it's basically asking you to give the selector, right? And I am basically telling, okay, this is the selector that I want to use. And here we go. Now in the heading part, I will, but let's do one thing. Instead of assertion, let's print out. If let's see if we can print something. There's no function of print, right? Okay, system dot println and page heading is, okay, and we will add this plus. Okay, let's run it. Let's run the day 5. How do you run it? Right click, run day 5. Okay, and let's see the magic, if we are able to fetch the information from the text content or not. Okay, so let's run it and let's quickly see the demo. Okay, cool. And here we have Chrome launching it. Start. Right, so loading, adding username, adding password, right, and sign in, right? And we are basically waiting for the head to load, and successful, everything works fine, right? Test. Okay, so here is the we have a pay assertion already available. I mean the data is all right. We are able to fetch the data, which is dashboard. Now what I can do is, instead of title, page.title, I will just say that it should match with the heading, right? Similar assertion I can add, right? So that you can give it a try. That's what the demo is basically about. So you can use assertion home is equal to here. Similarly, if you want to fetch the inner text basically means here, right click the page. I want to fetch this information. Like in this span, there is a lots of different information, right? I can get the inner text. So this is the data QA part. So let's do one thing. Let's get the data. I'll duplicate it, and here I'll just say span inner text. Okay, and I need to give the selectors, right? So how do you get the selector? You will basically use this and here. Okay, so I know it's little confusing for all of you, but it's basically a custom data QA that we have added as a key and the value. You can use a square brackets if you know they are unique in nature. If they are unique, for example, data QA is equal to this is unique everywhere in the page. You with the square bracket, you will able to fetch it. I'll show you how. Okay, even if you want to give it a try, here, Control F, here, see, you are able to find that span, right? In the Chrome DevTools, you can give it a try. So we are able to get this data, and let's, instead of page header, let's print this also, right? Let's rerun. Okay, so it's loading. We are basically entering the username password, and we'll try to fetch the data of header inner text also. Again, let's see if it is working fine or not. Here we go. Okay, and here we have the inner text also available. Cool. So similarly, you can give it a try, and you can basically get the attribute value also. For example, if you want to get the input alt attribute value. Okay, and here is the demo they have already shared with you. Let me open this to get the attribute value, right? So you can get input alt, for example, text is equal to alt. You can get the value also, right? In the input, I want the value of alt. It basically says, okay, that you can get it. You can basically check with the checkboxes, right? And you can evaluate the JS expressions also. JS expression basically means evaluate on selector. You can basically, if you want to, here there are a couple of advanced things which are basically not supported properly in the Selenium that you can do. Here is basically eval on selectors. You can use evaluation function on the selector also. For example, I am doing a page.eval on the search ID. I want to get the value. Basically, this is actually a JavaScript function, if you know, right? I want to get the value. You can directly get it by page.getAttribute also. You can get it by page.locator.getAttribute also. So there are different methods, and this function basically can give you the value, which is basically this JavaScript. element dot value. It will give you the href value. It will give you outer element plus suffix, and you can basically modify this also. So now you see the power of the Playwright now, right? You can basically customized JavaScript function, whatever they are running with the Elementor, you can fetch the information. So it's really, really awesome too. Awesome, right? That's what I really wanted to tell you, that the power of Playwright. Okay. So there are a couple of things. Text content we have learned, attribute we have learned, checkbox and inner HTML visibility and all the things. These are you can do. These are like custom JS assertions that you can do. For example, this thing is basically will fetch you the local storage. What is this local storage, Pramod? Let me show you this local storage. For example, for this page, if you go to the application, go to the local storage here, right? And you will see there's a local data available. See, there's an intercom and there is a root data is also available, right? This is the key and this is the value. For example, if you want to fetch this value, you can use this key instead of user ID here. Here you will see not this one, not this slide. Yeah, instead of user ID, where it is, yeah, instead of window.locator get user ID, you can use this one, this ID, intercom.interstate, and it will give you this ID, this data in the local storage. Okay, so you are evaluating, what you are doing is you are basically evaluating a JavaScript function here. Cool. This one actually works even if in the console also. Right now we don't have any user ID, but if suppose I want to fetch this, so similar thing you can do. Let's give it a try, right? And this is the data which is presented for us. Okay, let me give it a try. Cool. So this data again, you can give it a try and you can fetch the user ID and other details also which are present here. Okay, with this. Cool. And here you can basically evaluate the function. For example, in the div, you want the font size, you can get it. So evaluation also works on the element level, which is really important. Sometimes we want that. Okay. So that was it. That was about the different things like assertion. I think I have already told you, right? Similar assertions you can use. We have extensively used the assert equals, right? There are other available. For example, assert equals we have used where you basically compare a actual string and the expected string, and you can add a message. There is another one, right? You can use null, not null methods, false, and all these we will be using in the future. We will basically adding more assertion to our automation framework. Okay. And let's jump to the navigation, which is really important. And navigation, I think we have already told you many times, and we were also following with the navigation, right? We will use page.navigate that I have shown you earlier, right? Page.navigate, right? And it basically takes URL option, which is optional, right? And here you can basically give what you need to do. For example, navigate and wait until the network is idle, right? If you want to achieve this, where you load a page, for example, in VW, we want to load a page and we want to wait till the network is idle. We can use this method. We can basically add this to our options method here. Here, basically we can add this. Okay, and here let's basically import this. And you will see what is happening now is we are basically telling the options that until network is idle, we want to wait. Set wait until we want to do the network idle. Okay. And if you want to basically wait for an element, you can use locator.wait for. Okay. So if you want to wait for an element, you can use wait for method and it will basically navigate and wait for that element. If you want to navigate to a particular element, you want to wait till that you can use. By default, if you see click automatically auto wait, right? So click will automatically auto wait. So you don't have to add explicitly any kind of a wait in this case. Right, even like fill and the click, both of these methods that we have used, right, they are auto waiting. Okay, and we'll learn the auto wait also in the next slide, but these functions that we are using, they are already auto weighted functions. Okay, so you don't have to use it, but if you want to custom add, you can use wait for load state that we have used in the first, and you can use wait for locator also. like wait for here and wait for navigation. This is for the asynchronous navigation. So right now you have seen a the VW app that we were running, right, where we, after clicking, we need to wait for particular thing, right? So what we can do here, if you see, I have clicked this JS button, right? What I ideally have to do this, basically, instead here I need to, before this clicking, I need to basically do this, right? So it will basically triggers the navigation after a timeout. Okay, so it will basically, what it will do is it will wait for the navigation and then it will basically run this, do this, wait for the navigation, right? So let's give it a try. So I want to click something. Cool. So what we are doing is it will wait for the next navigation that I'm talking about. Okay, so after clicking this button, it will wait, that we want, right, that we wanted. So previous to that, if this is not the case, right, what we were doing, we were basically, after clicking, we are basically waiting for the selector, right? Instead of selector, since it's a purely a navigation, we can do this, wait for navigation here. Let me rerun this again and you will see that it will successfully run. It will wait for the next navigation because I'm clicking this button right now, right? This makes sense? Yeah. Okay, so this is a very important advanced concept. If you want, if you are clicking something, after submit button, you have to wait till your next page is loaded, right? You have to use space dot wait for navigation, and in that you can use the function which is your click method. Now you will see that everything works fine. But previous to that, in the day 3, what we were using wait for selector, and previous to that we were also using something known as wait for network idle. So those were like little flaky, and this will work well because this wait is awesome. Okay, and yeah, so this was the wait that I have talked about, and I think we have already discussed, which is wait for the selector. You can wait for the selector and you can also give the time also, right? Here you can give the wait options. Okay, and wait options, I think they are similar to the page option that we have given, right? You can select the timeouts out of it. Okay, so you can wait for the pop-up also, and you can use wait for navigation that I have already discussed, right? And we will see, this is wait for function, ready to take a screenshot according to the page itself. So it's basically, if you want to run a function, you can do that. We will see the example in the upcoming video. Okay, because in the day 6 we have this all the function that we are basically learning here. All right, thanks a lot guys for watching, and I'll see you in the day 6, right? To make sure you watch and do the things, right? Okay, couple of things which are remaining that I have already told you, like click is basically waiting for it, wait for load state, you can try waits and timeouts. This thing I think which are remaining, which is wait for the timeout. If you want to, it's not a good method. You can give a 5 millisecond wait. It's very similar to thread.sleep that only we use. Not recommended. Wait for selector recommended because we are waiting for a selector. You can use you can change the set default timeout also. By default it's 30 seconds, you can change it. Wait for an event if you want to change it. For example, I have told you, right, modern web applications are all event based, so you can wait based on the event. So there's a list of events, you can use that. And wait for navigation, I have explained you in the demo also, right? So you can use all these wait in this. Thanks for.
Hey guys, welcome to the Testing Academy. My name is Pramod and welcome to the series of Playwright Web Automation with Java. In this video, we are going to cover how to handle iframe and frames in Playwright with Java. Alright, so let's get started. We are going to cover 5 important topics, which is how to handle the iframes, how to handle the parent frame as well as move to the child frame, how to get all the child frame of a parent frame. There are other frame functions provided by Playwright. We're going to explore them one by one, and we will handle how to convert a locator to frame locator. All right, so let's get started. First of all, guys, why handling of iframe as well as frame is really important. So whenever you are dealing with right now with the application, right, new modern based application, right, which are basically created in React, Angular or Vue.js, right, it is really important for you to know how to handle frames, because most of these websites are made of the frames. For example, you have seen this kind of editor, right? where you can basically write something and you can make it bold, italic, right, based on it. So these kind of editor generally you see are basically if you right click inspect element, you will see that it's actually a different iframe. All right. Okay. And let me check it out. Okay. Right. So if you search it, you will see that it's a different iframe. Right. So where what you need how to handle these kind of stuff. For example, this is the ID for this, and this is a complete different iframes. So how do you handle these kind of scenarios where you have a iframes as well as sometimes you have a nested frames? Nested frames are nothing but to make your website more dynamic in nature, right? People can basically divide your website into subframes, okay? And there can be a parent frame where, so let me do one thing. Let me explain you, right, with this example. Okay. So let's go to the this sector, right? So here, if you see, right, this actually basically consists. This is a one frame, and this is the bottom frame, right? And in the top frame, we have left, middle, and right. And this is actually a separate frame, which is bottom frame. And now you will ask me this question, okay, Pramod, how do you know this, right? So if you right click on it and click on inspect element, right, you can also see view frame source here, right? Click on inspect. Here, if you see, right, we have one frame which is top frame, which is sources, and here you will see there is a second frame also, right? So there are two frames, and within this top frame, right, we have further frames. If you see, we have left frame, middle frame, and right frame, and there's only just some document which is there is only some text is written. Okay, so we can get the text also. So what I was telling you is that uh, this frame is actually divided into first it is divided into two frames. So first of all, this is a parent one, and parent has two childs, right? And this become a parent for these three, right? So this is child frame for threes, and this is a parent for them, right? And this parent is this one, okay? So this is how it basically works. Now, let's do one thing. Let me close this one. Uh, I think so. Frames is clear, right? And now let's jump to the iframe. Iframe, I think you guys already know. It's nothing but it's a specific HTML tag where you can basically embed another document within the current HTML. So here, that I have explained you earlier, right? This editor that you see is basically injected into this HTML page. Similarly, this website was injected by using this iframe tag, right, into the HTML. Now let's do one thing. Let's go one by one. So let's handle the first one, which is a frame locator. If you go to this documentation, you will see that frame locator represent a view to the iframe of the page, right? Okay, so how do you basically work, right? So let's create a new Java class. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's create in done. Okay, I'll create a new file and let's name it frame demo. Okay, and I'm gonna write some temporary code for you guys quickly. And here I'll just write try. This is just a quickly I'm writing guys. Okay. Okay. Try playwright subject, right? Okay. And here we will basically use playwright dot create method. Okay. And here I'll just do one thing. I'm just putting them into the try block so that we are able to create it. And if there is an error, we'll basically can fetch that error. Okay. So I'm just launching it with new browser launch options. Okay. And here I'm gonna set that it's headless is equal to false so that we can see what's happening, and set speed. Set slow-mo, and here we're gonna say slow-mo to 200. Okay, so what we are doing here is nothing, just we are basically mentioning that we are basically going to start a headless false so we can see the results. and I just added a speed of 200 milliseconds so that we can see what's happening right now. Okay. Now you can create a context, browser context here. Okay. So let's say browser context, and we'll say browser dot new context. Cool. And here you can mention other things here. For example, if you want to accept downloads or anything related to it, right, you can mention here. But we are interested in creating the page object, right? So we'll create a page quickly from this browser context dot new page. Okay, so this is the boiler code. I think this one I have explained earlier also. Now we need to basically first navigate to this page. So let's do navigation. Okay, and we can navigate to the iframe first. Cool. Okay, awesome. Now to basically switch to this frame, right, we require ID because I want to add something here, right? For example, I want to add hello G here. Okay. Now I cannot directly do page dot click or fill, or just page dot locate locator or dot fill. I cannot do that because it's in iframe, right? I have to basically switch to it. So what I can do is I can call a my frame locators, because they have said it's frame locator basically help you to switch to an iframe, and rest of them you can do, right? So here I will just do page dot frame locator. Okay, not get attribute, frame locator, right? Which frame locator we are looking into, right? So this is the ID. So thankfully we already have an ID for it. So we'll just do that, right? Add it. So now we have a frame available to us. Cool. And now it's very easy. What we can do is we can do frame locator dot locate. We just need a locator for this one, right? This side. So let's see. So in body, if you see, we have already have a tiny NCE ID available, right? So we can directly mention it. So if you are mentioning ID, you need to mention hash. Now you can use fill method, right? To fill the details. So let's say hello, please. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a page dot pose so that I can see what's happening. Okay. I can do page dot. So this is just for uh, I can do a catch also here. Let's catch an exception. This is just a dummy code, guys. There is nothing fancy. A dot sorry. Okay, and here we go. Let's click on this icon and run it. Yeah, so it's going to compile, and you will see it will start running in a while. So what we have done is basically, if we have done it correctly, it will switch to the iframe, and it will basically type hello G, right? Cool. And if you see, this is debugging, a debugging window which is getting open. Right here, I can do couple of things. I can click on record. Uh, okay, I'm not able to click. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I can now. So if you want to click on this icon, it will basically create a dummy board for you guys, so you can do that, right? You can do select all also and other things. For example, if you do double click, it will select all, and here if you click on this, if you do this click option, it will see here also. If you see, it's basically telling you that I need to switch to frame and then click it, right? So there are a couple of other methods, right, to do the same, right? This was the demo for the iframe, right? But let's a very important thing that we are going to do is basically uh, the frames, where what we need to discuss about the frame. So which one it is? It's a nested frame. Whenever you have nested frames, it's really important that you know, because this is a really important question in interview also, how to handle this thing. Okay, so let's do one thing. So we have covered how to switch to frame, right? We have covered it. So let me make it bold. I'll just jump quickly to these guys also. So here you have a parent frame as a top frame, and here we have a bottom frame. So let's do one thing. We will basically navigate. I'll just do the comment this one for it, because we're gonna do this. And here we'll navigate to the nested frames. Okay. Awesome. Now we have a nested frame. I want to print all the frames available here. Okay. So we're gonna do a frame loop. We're gonna go through all child frames with the page dot main frame. So main frame is already a function available and it can give all the child frames. What is the main frame right now? So main frame is the big one. And two child frame I told you, right? Bottom and top are the two child frames. So it will print those. And we're gonna basically S out the what is it? Child frame dot name. Name function is already available, right? Let's do one thing. Let's run it very quickly and see how many are available. Okay, and it will quickly start the execution for us. Quickly open this and checking time. Awesome. So if you see, it has already printed that I have frame top and frame bottom available. Okay. So name of their frames are visible now. So this is the important thing that I have told, right? So now what you can do is basically you can fetch every frame. So whenever, for example, main frame, what is the main frame right now? It will be page dot main frame, right? And now, so you can get every frame that you want right now. So we will just duplicate this. Suppose you want top frame, okay. So what is the top frame right now? It will be your main frame, right? Dot, what it will be? It will be child frame dot get zero, isn't it? Yes. So it will be your top frame. Now, if you want to get bottom frame, let me make it small so that let's delete it. So if you want to get bottom frame, it will be similar to this because we know the index now, right? There are only two elements in it. Cool. So we know bottom frame. Now, if you want to fetch all the child frame of top frame, right? How you can do that? You can do this. So again, you can just say this will be left frame. So I'm just giving you for the left frame. The left frame will be top frames, child frames, 0, right? And if you go by 1, if you go by 2, you will see we will have a middle frame and there will be a right frame, right? And let's check it out if we are correct with all of them. So we can basically write it out and we're gonna fetch the body part of that. Okay. So we'll say top frame dot we can basically ask the body because their body have certain inner text, right? So we can get inner text for this. So top frame doesn't make sense. We can do let frame, right? Let's fetch the middle frame if we are correct or not. Okay, this is just awesome. And let's run it. So meanwhile, I'll explain. So this is actually the inner text for this iframe, right? So this is what I'm fetching, and I'm fetching by using very simple mechanism, which is you can call locator method, and the body I'm passing an inner text answer. Okay. Now this website is a little slow, so it will take a time. Let me do it and reach it. Awesome. So if you see, we have two frames available and the body text we are getting in the system output also. Okay. So I think this is clear how to switch to a parent frame and get all the frames, miss options. Okay. So another interesting thing that this frame provides is right. What you can do, you can basically see all the frames like by using the dump frame tree, right? If you do this, it's basically fetching all the. It's very similar to this where you can we are fetching all the details, right? It basically by using these child frames, you can get all the frames of main frame, right? This is actually we are doing here if you see it, right? Now, interesting thing that you can do is you can add a script tag. You can add a script tag to the frame. So whenever you have a frame, for example, I have a bottom frame example. Bottom frame dot add. If you see, I can add a style tag to it, right? So I don't know where they are helpful, but sometimes you need to add some style tag or CSS tag to make them differentiate. You can do that. So there are a couple of functions available. that you can do. You can get the title of it, you can get the URL of it. You can set the content HTML also. You can change the HTML. You can query the selectors also. If you do a query, basically means you can get the details of, for example, if in the frame you have certain anchor tags or links, right? You want to fetch them. So you can do that by using these functions. Okay. So there are a couple of functions that you can give it a try. I hope this is helpful. How you can work with the frame locators and frame. Give it a try. For you, I would suggest go through this website and try out. First fetch the middle and then fetch the top and try out with the different combinations. Right? So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you have learned how to handle the frame and iframe with Playwright with Java. If you have any doubt, you can comment down below. I'll be happy to help. Please give it a like if you are getting the content what you are expecting, and if you have got some value from this. This is your host Pramod. I'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, welcome to the Testing Academy and welcome to the series of Playwright web automation with Java and Playwright. Alright, so in this video, we will basically learn how to handle keyboard, mouse interaction as well as JS handling Playwright. Alright, so let's get started. Awesome, guys. So we're going to cover three important topics, which is how to work with keyboard and how to work with mouse and what exactly is a JS handle, kind of alternate to the JS executor that you have seen in Selenium, right? Or if you want to execute any kind of a JavaScript code on a particular element also, you can do that with the JS executor or JS or a evaluate function, okay, available in the Playwright. So let's jump into it. So previously we have seen the frame demo, iframe switching demo, right? What I will do is I'll just copy paste thing. So let's create a new class. We'll create a dummy class for us. We will basically mention keyboard, mouse, M for mouse, and JS. Okay, this is just a dummy class, guys. Nothing fancy here. I'm just creating a main function for our reference, and this is the pre-built code that we have already passed. Awesome. So let's do one thing. Let's navigate to this website, which is a free type website, and I will enter something here through keyboard only. Okay, I will not use their over pre-made functions like click or fill. I'll use keyboard only. So if you want to use keyboard only, how you can do that, right? It's very simple. We need to navigate to this, right? So we'll navigate and let's copy the URL. Awesome, right? Now what you can do is you can use what is called as keyboard function page dot keyboard. Okay, and now you can basically call anything that you like. For example, you can type whatever you like. For example, let's type name @ your company dot, right? But before that, where should I write, right? So I need to do one more important thing, which is clicking this text, right? Clicking this, I need to put a focus here, right? So I need to click here. So what I can do is you can directly call selector hub if you already have, and you can copy the CSS selector, right? Let's see if we are getting the correct one. Awesome. So yeah, it's already available, so you can click on it. So keyboard I have entered, and after that I want to suppose do click on the, I want to press something. For example, let's add here. Click on it. Okay. And I want to basically pause this so that I can see what's happening behind this. Awesome. Right? Let's run this build. It's very easy, guys. So basically, we are clicking on the icon so that we are basically making a focus there. And after when we have a focus, we can just use keyboard method to type, right? We can use press also. And when you use this function, right, notice how slow this basically writes, right? If you use fill method, it will basically write immediately, right? But here you can see it's every letter is getting typed by keyboard, and we can see enter is also clicked. Since name was already there, and this is just a pause window that we have basically used, so it is working absolutely fine, right? What kind of keyboard interactions are available? So you can do a type, you can do press, you can do arrow left if you want to, and there are number of functions like number of keys available like F1, F2, digit 1, 2, 3, backcode, minus, page down, page up, home, interest. and you can try out everything if you want to. All right. Similarly, let's jump to the mouse one, and I think mouse one is very straightforward. For example, in the same example, I want to basically do a mouse move. So I need to basically mention where I want to move my cursor, right? For example, I want to move my cursor to X100, Y100 first, and then I need to change. Okay, then I need to basically click on the element. Okay, so I can do that. So similarly, I have basically used the function of mouse here, and if you notice that cursor will automatically move to that, and right, and it will start doing the keyboard stuff, right? Awesome. So similarly, you can leverage what is called as mouse up function if you want to. You can do mouse down. You can click on the X and Y coordinates of it. Generally, not recommended. You can do double click on a specific X and Y. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes, or you can do a wheel also where you can scroll to particular delta. Okay, so this is very rarely used, but many times people are using. Let's jump to the very important thing, which is JS handle. JS handle is basically represent, you can say it's represent as in a JavaScript object, right? And if you want to evaluate any kind of a JavaScript object, a JavaScript on your page, you can do this by JS handle. Okay, and it basically how you can use is you basically call a evaluate handle, and here you can pass your function or anything that you want to execute. This is your JavaScript code that you want to execute, and when you execute this, it will give you a handle, which is called as JS handling later. Okay, and this is really important if you want to understand this. Awesome. So let's do one thing. Like if you go to this website, right, vw.com, right? If you go to console, right? I'm gonna type one thing which is vwo.cc. vwo. Okay, so it's on Windows. vwo. It's suppose there is a object present, right? PC custom. Yeah. So if you see, it's a JSON, right? Where A is equal to 100 and T is equal to 100. There is a JSON value present. And this is a JavaScript code that I want to execute, and I want to check this value or get this value also, right? How I can do that? It's basically a JavaScript code. This JavaScript code that I want to execute on this function, right? How I can do this? It's very simple. So we are already at this page and we are entering this thing. So let me make it let me comment it out. So we gonna get a JS handle first, right? That I have told you, right? Playwright one, JS handle. What we're gonna call it is evaluate handle, right? And what we want to evaluate, we want to evaluate this thing, right? We will basically mention that here, right? Make sense? Okay. So this one is fine. Now I want to basically get the value, right? So I can do JS handle dot JSON value. Okay. And let's run this code now. And let's see if we are able to get the JSON values on. Okay. So because we wanted that JSON value to be there, right? So this is really helpful for you guys if you want to execute any kind of JavaScript method, right? And here the website is getting loaded, and let's see if we are getting the JSON value or not in the end. Okay. Awesome. So we are able to fetch the JSON value, right? So you can run any JavaScript code that you want to. So for example, you can get all the things which are present in the Windows window object, and it will print all the values of JSON available in the window object in JavaScript, right? You can execute your scroll to functions, your scroll to view function, which are available in JavaScript, right? That you can execute on a particular page. You can do that. Similarly, it's very similar to the Selenium one that we have seen, right? Where we are basically do a scroll to a particular element. I think we have some errors. Okay, so we are getting some cross original errors, but it's fine. Okay. Let's try out one more thing, which is I want to fetch Windows. I can use this method, right? Protos. It's a JavaScript method. I want to scroll to this particular uh, coordinates. Okay, can I do that? Let's see. So let's run it again. So these are all JavaScript code that I am running, right? This is actually, if you want to try out, you can try out here also. So let's check it out for this one. Where right? And let's see if our code is working. Right. It's basically returning null because we don't have anything. But here, if you do give it a try, right? Not about blank, right? It just scrolled, if you see, right? If you scroll up, it just scroll down. And if you want to simulate the similar behavior, you can use this code to evaluate handle. Okay. This was a very easy demo for you guys to do this. Where now it basically provides you with bunch of options where you can get the properties, you can get the JSON value, you can get the properties of handle. Right. There are many things that you can do. For example, here if you see, we are basically evaluating your whatever the tweets that we are getting, right? On that tweet, we can basically evaluate and we can get the inner text also. So this is a really interesting example, right? You can get the properties also. For example, Windows and document, we are basically evaluating this function, anonymous function, and this handle, we are getting all the properties available. And we are basically adding to the window handle and document handle, right? That you can do that. You can get the properties also. So this is another thing which is required. JSON value, I think we have seen. So depending upon the requirement, how you want to do it, you can use the evaluate handle function. Okay. And there is another interesting thing which already available was evaluate on selector also. If you want to evaluate on a particular selector on an element, right? For example, on a search element, I want to get the value of it, right? So I can use space dot evaluate on selector also, right? There are a bunch of evaluate function available here. If you go by evaluate on selector, evaluate on selector all, evaluate as expression, or evaluate handle that we have already talked about, right? So you can use this. For example, if this JavaScript code you want to execute, you can do that by using the evaluate function, right? You will get a result as an object and that you can see. So this is really helpful, guys. In the future, whenever we are working with the JS code or JavaScript code, it will be very helpful for guys. I hope you have learned something, guys. I hope keyboard, mouse interaction, as well as JavaScript code is helpful for you guys. Hey guys, welcome to the Testing Academy and welcome to the series of Playwright Web Automation with Java. Alright guys, in this video I'm super excited because we are going to create our own page object model and we are going to automate a login page, which is VW's login page, by using the page object model in Playwright in Java. Alright, we will cover what exactly is a page object model. We will understand the folder structure that I am using. We will write the base classes, we will write the page classes, as well as we'll write the test classes in the end. All right. So this is the demo that I just wanted to show you how it will look like. You will have this test class available where we will be basically navigating to the login page. We will basically doing the entering the username password and we'll basically after cleaning up the Playwright. So this is the page that we are working on. Right now we are working on a login page. We have a username, we have a password, and we have a sign in button to sign in. Okay. So let's understand and let's work with the page object model in Playwright. All right. So let's get started. Awesome, guys. First of all, guys, just wanted to give you a very small clarification. Right. This is just, it will take less than a minute where I will just explain what exactly is a page object model. Okay. I hope you already know it, but generally page object model basically is aligned with the Selenium most of the time, where it basically is a model, or you can say it's a kind of a design pattern where you have every page is basically you keep locator of every page as well as their respective functions in a separate page classes, something called as page classes, and the test classes are differently. Okay, so what exactly it means? For example, here if you see we have a Gmail page login page, right? Similarly, we have a VW login page, right? It's a separate page class where it can contains page locators, we call it PL, and it can contain page functions. So functions can be whatever the action that we want to perform on the locators. For example, if you want to submit something, we can create a function around it and we'll call it as page actions. So it contains page locators and page actions most of the time. Okay, so this page basically contains these two things. Whereas your test class will call this page locators and page actions, and it will execute all the things. All right. And you can have your test base also, where you can import some of the test functionalities like before suite, after suite. But right now we are not introducing test base because it will make it very really complex. We have just made a very simple one where because we have made a base class for the pages so that we can associate with it, right? So again, you can have your base pages also, you can have your test bases also. We will explore how you want to do it in this sprint. Okay, awesome. So this is okay. So this is an article which basically talks about the page object model in the Playwright, and it's basically if you want to provide a structure to your automation code, right? You can use page object pattern in this in the Playwright, right? And you can call certain method, and they have basically mentioned that this is how you are basically working with the locators. And here you can see the page actions or page functions available there. And there is a test class which is using them afterwards. Okay, so let's understand this one by one. I have already created the framework with you guys for you guys before that. So we're gonna go with the scratch one. So I'm just showing you a couple of things here that this is which is already created. We'll go one by one. We have a base class also, which will basically call work with the Playwright, and it will basically set the context there. It will handle the launch Playwright and launch application and close Playwright for us. We have a page object for the login page and the page functions available, right? We have a couple of utilities available, as well as we have a test class, which will basically uh, import the base class and basically do the what do we call uh, run the test case, one test case, which is login test. Cool, make sense? All right, awesome. Okay, so let's create a new project. Okay, and this project basically, guys, is already available on the GitHub, so don't worry about it. I will create from archetype. Let's load the archetype. We are going to use a very simple one, which is fruit start, and click on next. We will call it Playwright form demo, and rest of them we can keep it as it is, or let's say we'll use our sdet.live. So this thing, click on next. Group IDs are similar. We will basically use a new window so that we can take a reference if that is required. Okay, it will take a time. Let me come back. Okay, so build has finished for us. So it has created two folders for us, which is very important, which is main and the test folders, right? Awesome. So first of all, we need form.xml, where we need to mention the dependencies, right? What kind of dependencies we are looking into? Let's jump into it. Like the first one, I think we need to add is Playwright, right? Right now, if you see, we already have JUnit, which is we don't require, right? We only need testng that we're gonna use because we're gonna use the test annotations, and we will use the Playwright. Okay. Let's go to our previous one. You will see the dependency that I have added: Playwright, testng, and Apache log4j for the logging purposes. This is log4j updated. There are two core and the normal API. Sonar Cube I have added just for reference, and the report engine that we have added, right? So all of them, let's do one thing. Let's copy directly here, and this will be available, guys. So don't worry. Dependencies, and here we go. Okay. Now click on this red icon so that it will just resolve this, and it will add to your project. Okay. Now we will add the folder structure for how you want to basically have the folder structure for this. Okay. In the Java, if you see, there's a file which is created. We will delete this. We don't need this as of now. And here also we will delete this because don't need this as of now. Okay. Now here in the main folder, what kind of folder structure that you want to have, right? Let's see. First of all, I'm going to create one package. So this will be my base, and I'm going to create another package. So in after base, we will have a pages, and here we can have one more package which is utils. We'll call it as utils. And test one, I think it's very simple. We what are we going to have it as test? Okay, go to your Java, create a new folder package, and let's say test. Right, that's it. That's of now. Awesome. Now what we need is we need to create a base class first. Okay, so we call it as base class. Okay. Uh, Here I'm just creating couple of dummy classes as well. So login VWO test class. So we're gonna mention this as a test. In pages, we will have one more class which is login page. Login VWO page. Page. Empty one. Okay. And utils, as of now, we can copy paste the utils, right? These are pretty straightforward, so we can directly copy them. Okay. Right. And let's check if there's no. Okay. So everything works great, I think. We can touch it off with the build project so that we'll see if there's no random errors are there in the build. Right. I think build compiled successfully, so everything works right. Awesome. So let's move to our page first. Okay. So this is our page, and this we need to fetch the locator first, right? And I think easiest way. So I already have username password created for this. So we can create by clicking on this tree right. Inspect element. I think one of the interesting way that I generally use is I use selector hub, where we can directly copy the relative path, and you will see that it's already right. Awesome. So first we'll create a base class first. Sorry, the normal class first, page class first, and then we'll create a base class. Okay. I think this will be easy. Or you want to create a base first? Okay. It's up to us actually. Let's do one thing. Awesome. So page. Generally, I told you right. We will have a page locators here as well as page actions. Page actions are nothing but functions. Okay. Okay, so first of all, we have this username, right? So how you can get this? It's very easy, guys. First of all, we need a reference of page from the Playwright, and this is really important. I'll tell you why. Whenever we want to use the page functions, right, we'll leverage this page update. Okay, and it's saying that add a constructor. Okay, we need to add a constructor. That's it. Saying so, we'll add the constructor. Good. Now we can keep our locators in string format, right? Let's say username, and here we can mention this is the username in double quotes, right? Duplicate couple of times. We'll have a password. This is I'm keeping as a camel case, right? And we'll have a submit button. Submit button. Okay. Copy selector hub, copy CSS selector, easy peasy, right? And what is your, please tell me. Awesome, cool, makes sense. So it's already, we are done with it. But there is another thing, which is after this, we are getting logged in, right? There is another page, but this is actually, if you see, it's a different page, dashboard page, and you will see that hello Wingify is available, right? Selector hub, copy CSS selector also. This is selector, but this is actually a page 2, right? So we'll use create a duplicate class. Let's do one thing. Let's copy paste this one only, and we call it dashboard VWO page. Good. Everything is done. We'll just remove this thing. I will say instead of this, I want this. No, I want your locator. What's your locator? Let's see.
Welcome to the part 2 of the Playwright with page object model part 2 of the series. Let's get started.
So we have two pages available, login page and the dashboard page available to us. Let's do one thing, because I told you, right, page. Okay, we need to create a page function for this. Okay, where we will basically filling the details of the login. We can make one function which is called as public. Let's make it void function. It basically do is set username, right? It's giving us example. So string, okay, let's say username. Okay, and what it will do is this will whatever that you already have, like page dot fill, whatever the username that you gave us, it will just fill. Good. Here, if you just pay attention to this, right, this is really important. This one, let's make it use. This one is different and this one is different. Okay, so we are not actually utilizing it. So let's change the name. Use the name passed, let's say. Okay, and here. Okay, so that we have a differentiation. This is a locator. This is the way. Awesome. Similarly, we have a set password. So here we'll say password, and here we'll say username pass, and we'll say password pass. Okay, so that we know what exactly is passed. Right. Awesome. Again, thing we need click also. So you can also do one thing. You can create a simple function. Okay. Here you don't. So what we will do is basically we will do call for first function, which is set password. Before that, we'll call self username. What is the username that we want to set? So this we'll call this one this function, which is user USR. Let's say short form for this. Okay, PWD. So username is USR. We'll pass. PWD will pass. And here I'm gonna use directly page.click, right? Because we all enough of the small functions, right? Submit button, user button, right? We have it. So we have clicked this one. I'm gonna add a wait, not wait, right? Not here. In dashboard, what will happen is I will call this function which is called as let's call it okay, so here let's call it public boolean verify, okay, is welcome message, is user welcome, let's say is user welcome. This will be our function, and what this will do is okay, so now we are at here. So dashboard we have completed now. So dashboard welcome text we already know. I have added one function which is user welcome, and I have added page.wait for wait for selector is visible. Then it basically means it will return a that user is welcome, right? And here, if you say do login, we are setting the username password and clicking it. So nothing fancy, just do login function. Base test, base class I have basically added here. Now, I think let's do one thing. Let me explain you guys. This will be very common for you how to write it. I'm not gonna write it from scratch, but it's very easy. What we are doing is we are basically creating instance of browser type, Playwright. First of all, Playwright, browser type, browser context, browser, and page. 5 instances that we need. In the first function, launch one, we can mention what is the name of the browser that you want, and if you required headless, yes or no, right? We'll basically do a create session. If browser that you have mentioned is Chrome, we'll basically say that we'll call the function playwright.chromium. If you say it's a WebKit, we'll basically call the WebKit. If you say headless true, we'll set the option to headless true. If you say not true, it will say this thing, right? We are setting a viewport to match the size. and we are just closing the context afterwards, and we're just creating a new page after, and that's it. Right, very simple. And in the URL function, whatever the URL that you basically tell us, it will open navigate to that URL, and it will wait for the network idle. This is already available, guys. So if you go to my GitHub account, I'm gonna share the direct repo with you guys also. So look for this repo. You will see all the code available, right? And here I have just added one more check for the selector. This is just a selector on the login page. Here, let me log out again. Okay, so here is it's available. So this one I think I have added. Okay, so the selector. Okay, so similar one I think. Let me check which one is this. So that you don't ask me. Okay, the image tag I have. Okay, so when image is loaded, I mean my page is loaded. That's what I have. In the close, I'm closing everything. That's it. This is just a base test class that we are using, that we will be using it in this. So again, very simple one. I have added this functionality where I have just called both of the page objects. Now we need to call what we call as before suite. So we're gonna call before and the afterwards, right? Let me copy paste from this one so that we are not typing because we are not typers. We are actually coders. So before class, what I'm doing is I'm passing a parameter. What are the parameters? I'm passing browser name and headless. So I'm passing that this is the login page. Parameter I'm passing, right? And here, if you see, I'm passing from and headless is equal. So headless we are passing as a false here, right? And I'm gonna call the launch playwright function of the base class. So make sure you extend this because if you are not extended, extend this, then this function will give you error. And we are launching the URL, right? Here you will see the magic now. We have initiated the login page. Similarly, we will initiate the dashboard page also with the page object because we need to part the page so that it's available to both of them. Here I have added username and password. Unified that 123, very basic one. Login page. What is the name of the function that we need to call? We will be calling this one. So in page, if you see do login, right? It's available here. So here we can pass username and password. And what is the error that we are getting? We are getting error because it basically return void. Actually, it doesn't return anything. So we'll say, okay, don't return. Now, second thing is after logging in, we need to basically call this is user welcome. And there is no parameter ID for this one, right? There's no parameter, only we'll check for the welcome text. That's it, right? And here, if you see, it will return something and it will return if the login is success or not. Okay, so this will be a boolean, right? And here we are basically asserting it. Make sense? And closing the playwright where we'll close everything. Very simple, very straightforward test case. And here, if you see, we are getting error because this has to be the class. That's it, right? Now let's do one thing. Let's quickly run this. So how do you run this? I have added test priority as one here, right? So, and you can basically, if you go to the edit configuration in IntelliJ, you can directly call create a test ng configuration where you add a class and method as a login test. Or most of the time you will see there is a run button there, right? Right click, run local test, and we're gonna start the test now. Let's see how our test case basically performs. Okay, so both two per page objects we have already created where we will first load the first page where we will log in into this. We'll first check the image to load. So image loading is done. Username, password we'll enter now. And we'll basically move to the dashboard where we'll see hello Mingify, and that's it. Right. And if you see right now the flow is happening. And awesome. Cool. So our test case passed. You can see the things. Now, interesting thing is how do you see the report? You will see HTML report here automatically available. Click on this icon. And here you have the test reports created by test report ng for you. Okay. So this is actually automatically created by report, and you can use another reporting mechanism also. We generally use report ng, easy to uh, test it out. Okay, so all the code available here on the Playwright Java form. Okay, so you will be, you can see that. And you can do one more thing, which is basically logged in utils. You can call these methods to log your responses, and you can have a retry mechanism also. So we'll add more things to this framework. I just wanted to show you the simplest way to add a Playwright Java. All right. Okay, awesome. I hope this is clear, guys. We have covered everything. So we have covered page object, this one, this one, this one, this one.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Testing Academy and welcome to the series of Playwright E2E web testing with Java. Alright, in this video we will learn how you can automate your API test cases using Playwright, right? So in the past videos we have learned about different ways where you can do web automation. Now we are jumping towards the API automation. Alright, so let's get started. Guys, make sure you watch this video on 1.5x for best viewing purpose, because many times whenever we are creating content, right, if you watch at 1.5x, right, it will be easy to understand and you can cover most of the things, right? So first of all, let's discuss about what will be the agenda of this video, right? We will basically see how you can perform the API testing. What are the functions already available in Playwright, right? We will basically see one CRUD operation in Postman first, and that CRUD operation we are going to automate with the Playwright's already given function, which is API request context. Okay, we will work on the get call, put call, and patch call, as well as on delete call, and we'll basically try to automate it. Okay, all right, let's get started. Awesome. So all the documentation links are available here, and you will find the code generated in the description also, so you can check that. Awesome. First of all, I need to give you one very small concept, how you can basically use you can leverage this concept. So in Playwright, there is something called as API request context. Okay. So if you see, each Playwright browser context has associated API request context also. So browsers like browser context that we have basically, I have explained you in the previous video, right, in Playwright, is nothing but nothing you can consider as a context or a window where Playwright has certain functions where it can directly communicate with the browsers. All right, and it has its own context where if you open a different context, then they will not able to. I mean, these are two separate ones, right? Now this context that you have basically opened, right, it also have a API request context also, where you can leverage this and create the different HTTP methods like get call, put call, patch call, and delete call. Okay, so how we are gonna use this? We're gonna use the pre-built function of Playwright, which is API request context.get. We're gonna use head, we're gonna use patch, we're gonna use post, put, and storage stage. So what you can do is, if there is another advanced feature of this API request context, you can make a API request. After that, whatever the cookies, headers, and all the things, right, you can store them, and you can basically provide all the information to the Playwright browser context so that they can use it. So it will be helpful where you require certain kind of authorization, right, where you have to authorize using APIs, right? After API authorization, you get some cookies or some values, right? You can directly add them to the browser also. But right now we are focusing on the CRUD operation. Okay. All right. Awesome. So it's very easy to do that. We will basically let's do step by step. Okay. Let's jump to our favorite tool, IntelliJ, and we will basically going to create. Let me create here, right? So this was the previous example where we have worked on. So we will basically create a Maven project. Let's quickly create that. We're going to create from the archetype, and make sure you are using the quick start. Click on next. I'll change it to API Playwright project. Okay, and I'm going to change this one also. Okay, so we are doing it very quickly because I have explained this thing many times to you, right? We're going to finish it in this window only. Okay, and it will take a time. So it's done. So we will open the pom.xml and we will remove the JUnit dependency. Only 3 dependency right now we are adding. We are adding Playwright dependency. Make sure you are using the version 1.21, because in the latest version we have the we have the API request context available. Okay, we are using TestNG and the report NG to generate the reports, because Playwright doesn't provide default reporting mechanism. You have to use certain your own. Okay, so we will be using it. Now after this, you have to click on this small icon so that it will automatically add the dependency to you, right? And here I'm going to create the demo function here. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's modify, because a JUnit dependency will be added. So we'll remove this and click on Alt Enter, and it will add the TestNG dependency, right? Cool. So first I'll explain you like which API we are working on. Okay, so I have created a dummy API using the JSON server. I have already explained many times how you can do that. It's very simple. What you need to do is you need to install something called as JSON server. It's a fake API, guys. It's a fake API of Node. When you install it, it will basically you will see something like this here. For example, right now in comments, I have created a fake API of comments. This is my base URL, and this is the comments right now, right? And why it is not working? Okay, let's see. So let's make a get call. Let's make a get call. So this is the postman where we are making a get call to this URL. Okay, and click on send. Let's see. Let me do one thing. Let me restart it. So Control C. Control C. No. Yes, I want to terminate. So this is the command you need to use. JSON server -w. So this file, this db.json basically contains the information about the different API endpoint that I have created, right? And the port we are using is 888. So right now I have created it. So if you see, we don't have anything. We will create one comment. So this is the comment. Let's say some comment. Let's create one, and we will basically pass post ID is equal to 1, right? So if you now get the comment, you will see there is a 1 created already, right? If you see, you can see that in the browser also, right? Similarly, we can update this request. So you need to pass 1, and here I have just made updated. So you will see if I refresh it, so it's a patch request, right? So updated. Now I can delete this also. So I can delete the number 1, send request, and you will see 200. Okay, and here you will see it will be deleted, and you will see empty array. So now let's automate this with the Playwright. Okay, so we have added the dependency now. So I'm going quickly, guys. And this one here we just need to enter the dependency. Okay, we'll remove this. Awesome. So first of all, what you need is that you need to basically create two things. Okay, right. So first of all, we need Playwright, right, to create a context. So first we will create the context, right, and then we will work on the API request. You will see context available, right? Cool, right? Awesome. So let's create a Playwright context first. To do that, we basically need to use something called as playwright.create, right? Here we need to use. Okay, and it will. Okay, let's do that. Okay, and it's saying something. Let's remove. Set the language. Okay, refresh that. Cool. So now after doing this, what you need is you need to basically tell. So this you basically need to tell what you need to tell. Here you need to basically tell that, okay, I will be creating a new context. Which context I will be creating it? I will be creating a new API.new context, and here you can mention what is my base URL. So my base URL will be http local host, and we have a port number also, so we will mention that. Cool. So this is my base URL, right? And for get request, we just need base URL. But suppose I want to add headers also. So headers, how do I add the headers also? Because if you see, while creating the post call, right, you will see that we need to pass something called as JSON, and we need to pass the header also. If you see content type, right? So content type JSON is most important one. The rest of them you can ignore them. Okay. So here what you can do is you need to create something called as a map function. So we will use a string, right? Let's call it string map. Let's call it headers. Okay. headers. Okay, and now we basically say that it's a hash map, right? And click on Alt Enter so that it will automatically import the import for you guys. Import class. Cool. Now I need to mention headers. So I need to put something. So the first one is basically content type. This one I have explained many times. So basically we are saying is we will be sending you the JSON thing, JSON request. So how you can do that? Application hyphen application slash JSON. So here similar thing here, content type application hyphen JSON. Okay. So this thing we have told. Now you can tell this, basically what we are doing is setting up as a generic one. So here you can set dot, again dot, set extra headers, right? If you want to, and here you can mention your headers. Cool. So now we are ready. Now we are ready with the request. So this will be basically API request context. Okay. So we are ready. If you want to see properly, what you can do is you can do something like this so that you know now. So now what we have done is we have a generic request ready to send, but we haven't sent it right now. Okay, we have just told them it's a base URL is this, and we have added this as a extra URL. So how we can do that is basically now we can use get function, and if you see we have a number of function. So get where we want to send. We want to send to /comments, right? If you see we are sending it to /comments, and when we are making a get request we don't need to send anything, right? So here it will basically reply. So after sending it, whatever the text we are getting, for example, suppose I want to verify the status code. So for example, this is in the get request we have a 200. Okay, right? So I will say okay, let's get the status, right? And if you see we need to check what exactly it replies. So it's basically reply integer, right? So we'll say integer. I'll say response code is int, right? And here I can do assertion, assert equal integers. What is the expected one? Here is expected is 200, and here let's say what we have is response code. Cool. This is clear. Now after I am done with this, I need to do two things, which is closing my Playwright, as well as I need to dispose the context also, right? And here we are ready with the first request, which is a get request. Let's run it. Let me make myself smaller so that we are able to see it and where we are running it. Run. Okay, so it's running. So in the first part, guys, we will basically run about the get call. In the second part, we will do post, put, and other things also. So we are getting some error. Is basically Playwright connection close error. What is it? Let me check. Awesome. So I made a very silly mistake. I told you, right? So Playwright context, within Playwright context we have API request context, right? So first we need to dispose the API one, then we can dispose the browser context of Playwright, right? So just change there. And if you see we have a function pass, we can modify this function. Let's say get call verification. Okay, and if you see in the output here we have added a report ng, right? So it should have created some of the report for us. Click on this. It's opening. Yeah. So here we have report and everything works fine. Okay. So one test case pass, 100% pass. Cool. So right. Let's move back. Okay. Hey guys, welcome to the Testing Academy. And many students were asking me about the Playwright. What is the major difference between the Playwright and the Selenium, right? And which one should I learn first, right? So in this video, we are going to basically see about the major differences between them, right? We will basically discuss about which one you should prefer, like Playwright or Selenium. Before jumping to the Playwright, what are the things that you should know and what are the different study material that I'm going to attach that so that you can learn both of them in a limited amount of time. And in the end, I'm going to discuss about the criteria to choose your automation framework, and then you can make a choice which one as a fresher or even if you have like 2 to 3 years experience and you want to jump into the automation testing, right? Which one you should learn first, right? So in this video we will cover. So make sure you watch till the end, and you can watch the video at 1.5x for a better experience, so that you can complete the video and you can completely get what exactly I'm trying to explain. All right. So let's get started. First of all, let's see the major difference. I think this is one of the important diagram that I have seen, where they have explained about the different between the Selenium, Cypress, and Playwright, right? Let's go one by one. All right. So I think I have already explained about the difference between Selenium, Cypress. Let me pull up my marker. Yeah. Selenium, Cypress, and Playwright in one of my videos, previous videos, right? I will put a link in the description so that you can watch it. But if you know, Selenium is basically a suite containing different tools like in IDE, basically a library or a tools which basically allow you to have automate your browsers, right? And it basically contains Selenium Grid also, right? So Selenium is basically you can say it consists a suite which contains like 3 more tools which will help you to automate the browsers, right? Whereas if you see Playwright, right, and Playwright basically if you see, it's a open source node based system, right? It's a node based framework where it will basically help you to do the end-to-end testing very similar to the Selenium that provides, right? It also automate the browser. But in Selenium, the major difference was Selenium, basically whatever the code that you write, right? It will basically communicate through browser with the drivers, right? We had a drivers in between them, which will help you to basically communicate with the browsers if you want to basically simulate any kind of experience, right? So in Playwright, what they had done is they are right now, instead of drivers, they are directly communicating with the browser APIs, right? Similarly, I think we have seen the puppeteer automation, right? So the same team, which right now handled by Microsoft. This project is handled by Microsoft, which basically now are leveraging the WebKit to basically automate the Safari, Chrome, as well as the Gecko driver, which is Firefox in nature, right? So if you see, Selenium is widely used. This is very modern point, and it supports major languages like Java, Ruby, Perl, C Sharp. I mean, almost all the languages are supported in Selenium, right? Here, if you see. Playwright is also open source. It basically supports all the modern rendering engines like Chromium, WebKit, and Firefox. So you can automate your browsers basically related to Chrome, Safari, and the Firefox, right? So majorly most of the browsers you are covering here, right? Testing the mobile and you can basically emulate the mobile also by basically the Google Chrome that you want to emulate, right? For example, if you want to emulate the Google Chrome on Android, Safari, and other things that you can, so you can leverage the Playwright also, right? Where you have a hard time doing it in the Selenium, right? It also supports majority of the languages, and it's very, you can say, it is useful for very complex application. So right now, let me tell you very important point. Okay, Selenium and Playwright, right? If you see, Playwright is basically made most of the time whenever you find a modern applications, modern end-to-end application automation, right? What are the modern application? I think I have explained in the previous video also. Modern applications are, for example, single page applications, which application made in React, Angular, and all, right? Those applications behave in a certain way where they have asynchronous nature mostly, right? Where Selenium many times have a hard time. You have to introduce lots of weights and other things to basically support that, right? In Playwright, it basically do the automation. I mean, it basically handles all the things, the asynchronous nature of the website. Okay, so this is clear for you, right? If you see, let's see the diagram right here. If you see Stablet solution, I think Selenium, both of them are yes. Our reporting, Selenium doesn't have any kind of reporting, where Playwright you can have, right? It supports Jest and other test runners also. Both of them supports, right? If you see no static weights, right? Playwright doesn't have a static weight because it handles automatically most of the things. You can do parallel execution in both of them, and video recording you can do that in Selenium also using third-party libraries to support more. So if you see, it's a kind of, you can say Playwright has more feature or almost equal or plus some advanced features than the Selenium, right? So for a fresher, right? Let me make it myself a little big. So for a fresher, it looks like a very important choice, right? If I'm a fresher, then I should start learning Playwright, right? So this is where the things come in. I mean, now let's jump to the important point, which is this one. Let me show. If you see, Playwright is fairly new and lack the support on various level like community, browsers, real devices, language options, and integrations. So this is where which is very important. Let me make it myself little big. Pay attention to the point which I'm basically explaining here, right? Many new students are telling me that these things, but this is very important. For example, suppose you have joined a company where they want a stable automation for for example, like 500 test cases, suppose, right? Now, traditionally, you should choose Selenium because it's more stable in nature, right? Everyone knows about it. Everyone is comfortable with Selenium. Most of the errors or probably the new things that you are going to face are already handled because Selenium is there for more than 8-9 years, right? Whereas Playwright is very new and it lacks in support. There are real devices issues. I mean, Selenium also doesn't have any kind of real devices, but language options, integration. But you will be the first person who will be facing these kind of issues in the Playwright. For example, I remember when Cypress was launched, right? People started using Cypress, and after that there was a couple of limitations, and there were many limitations in the Cypress that they were not able. For example, multi-tab and other things, which they are still struggling out. So, a stable company, it is very important that you should choose a stable automation suite which can automate your browsers, right? That's why many people still say that Selenium is mature and it is widely used in the company. And for a complex scenario, probably Playwright offers more effective solution. But since Selenium is present from the like last 8 years, 9 years, and it has almost all the problem that you have basically going to encounter are already solved. Or if they are not solved, then you will not able to probably do it in a Playwright also, right? So that's where you need to pay attention. I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear for you guys, right? Let's understand before jumping to the Playwright. I'm just saying the same point here. Playwright is a relatively a new player. Many companies are still evaluating it. Companies generally avoid the new player. This is true. Okay. And now let's come to the important point, two important points, which is study material. I think where you can find the more details. I think these 3 articles are enough where they have compared the Playwright with Selenium and other things. You should go through it and basically read more about it. Okay. Let's jump to the 5 important points, which I think you should know, right? Criteria. It's basically a criteria for a automation tools, which basically says that documentation point of view, if you say from a documentation point of view, both of them are great. History point of view, I think Selenium has a great advantage because almost 8 years Selenium is there. Support for Selenium is good. I mean, already many questions are already answered on this Stack Overflow. So good to know. Team knowledge, I think most of the people, if you have like 3 years, 4 years experience, people who are going to join your company probably in some future or something, they are more comfortable in Selenium. Yes. My advice will be, yes, you should evaluate the Playwright. If it serves the purpose, it serves all the purpose for you, you can go through it, or you can basically try to implement it or use it. But for us, I think we are sticking up with the Selenium because of support, documentation, team knowledge, multiple languages, and we don't want to be the first person to face the issues, whatever probably they are coming with a new player in the market. Okay, so those things is my advice. And to be honest, in one of the project we are using Playwright. We have done the POC and it worked very well. So we have separate repo for a Playwright. So yes, we have also added the Playwright into our automation. Okay. We have a strong Selenium framework also where we are running with 10,000 test cases and very minor number of test cases, because we are still evaluating, right? We are also learning on the Playwright. Okay. Eventually we will start doing the migration whenever we feel we are more comfortable. Okay, so that's all about this, guys. I hope you like this video and I hope you have loved the difference between the Playwright and the Selenium. And as a fresher, I hope you have now clarity which one you should choose, right? And based on the programming language support and everything, I think both of them are comparable. It's up to you where you want to basically learn. I think both of them you can learn if you are comfortable. All right. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Make sure you give a like and subscribe. If you want more videos like this, type more videos in the comment and I will be happy to create those videos where we will generally compare the tools so that you can understand and you can learn which one are great for your career in the future. All right. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. This is your host Pramod and you're watching Testing Academy. Bye.